All right, great. We're live. Well, hey, everybody. My name's Graham Matthews, and I run Empowered STEM. And Empowered STEM is an A-level course provider, and we provide A-level courses in chemistry, biology, physics, and maths for those students that want to enroll in medical, dental, veterinary, financial, and engineering programs at the chosen university in the UK. So, in these live streams, I always answer parent questions. And so today's live stream, I actually turned it around slightly and I've answered the question in a different format. So here we go. This is the statement that I want to say. The statement is this. Your teen, did you know that your teen doesn't need teachers or examiners in order to excel in A levels? Now I know you're thinking, ooh, Graham, this is kind of a bit of a controversial one. Go on, explain it then. Well, simple. Let's go start out with a story. Now, let's start out with a story, and the story that I'm thinking of is the story of Albert Einstein. Now, Albert Einstein was the most intelligent man that walked the planet. He had the highest IQ. He came up with the theory of relativity. Did you know that he was neurodivergent? So Albert Einstein was neurodivergent. Back in the day, they used to call it a learning disability. He was neurodivergent and he didn't succeed at school in the traditional sense. So he failed out of school. At the age of 16, he said, right, I'm done with school. It's not working for me. I'm done. He left school at the age of 16 and then he became self-taught. He taught himself physics and he taught himself advanced mathematics. And by the age of 26, he had written four scientific papers, one of which, of course, was the theory of relativity. Now, the reason that I mention this is because Albert Einstein achieved what he wanted to achieve in life, but he didn't go down the traditional schooling route. All right. And the reason is because he realized that there's a problem with traditional schooling. And the problem is this. The problem with traditional teaching is number one, you got one size fits all. Number two, you've got rote learning. And number three, you've got limited feedback. So let's go break these down. One size fits all. Parents, it's like, well, for the guys out there, if you want a suit, you go down to the local mall, the local high street, pop into a Marks and Spencer's or something, and you take a suit off the rack. And yes, maybe they can kind of tailor the arm length and maybe hem the trousers. It's okay. It's passable. For the price that you pay, it's not bad, is it? But is it really tailored to your individual body size and physique? No. And so one size fits all doesn't really work in the clothing industry when you're buying a suit. And it doesn't work in schooling either because all students are different. And so imagine your teen being schooled in a way that is not really tailored to what they need. It's good enough, but it's not really tailored to what they need. How much of a result do you think that they're going to get with good enough education? Second thing is that traditional teaching relies on rote learning. So you're given the concept, the very first thing they say is, well, you need to memorize the foundation. And the formulas, the facts, the figures, right? And this is where they tend to stop. Maybe a little bit of application, but it's a lot of rote learning in traditional learning methods. Now, having said that, raise your hand. How many people, and I'm one of them, how many people actually utilized rote learning when you were in school? So maybe, for example, it's a concept of maybe you're learning something and you don't really understand it. So you say to yourself, well, I don't really understand it. So what I'm going to do is this, is I'm just going to, I'll memorize the steps that I need to take. It's like if you need to rearrange a formula, I put this down here and then I divide through by this and then I set it equal to X and then I've got it. So you memorize the steps, right? Or how many people, now come on, parents, be honest, how many people have done this one? Coming up to the test or the exam, there's some concepts you didn't really understand. And so you thought, well, you know what I'll do is this, is I'll just memorize the mark scheme. Oh, memorize the mark scheme. Right. Problem with that one is all they got to do on the exam is rearrange the question, and all of a sudden, your teen can't answer the question. Also, your teen gets limited feedback. Large class sizes, the teacher's really busy, overwhelmed. How many people have, your son, your daughter has come home and said this one? Well, yes, we did the green pen exercise. It's a classic. The green pen exercise is this one. The teacher doesn't have enough time to keep up with the marking, and so they put it back onto the student and say, right, everybody, take your homework out and let's do the green pen exercise where you actually mark your work or you mark the person's next to you, their work. And then you put a grade on, and if they got it wrong, well, maybe take out a red pen and then you write down the answer in a different pen color on the paper. Right. Is this kind of feedback, is it really what your teen needs in order to be successful in their academic studies? I don't think so, parents. So what I'm getting at is this, is that traditional learning is learning from the past, is teaching from the past. What we need to do is that we need to start teaching our teens using the teaching methods of the future. Okay? Now, what this really means then is that your teen becomes an independent learner. Now, you probably heard this one bandied around. Yes, we now have to have independent learners in the classroom. Well, how exactly do you get independent learners in the classroom? And what's the benefit of being an independent learner? Well, first off, number one, an independent learner is they have flexibility in their learning style and their approach to learning. Okay, because an independent learner, because they're working on their own, all right, number one, they can pace the learning that they have. If they get something, they can speed up a little bit. And if they don't get something, they can slow down a little bit and they can focus on their weak areas. They're not following the pace of the teacher. And say, well, I didn't get this bit. Well, come on, we have to move on then, don't we? Because I've got to keep up with the teaching plan. Got to get to the end of the year. Okay. Number two is they become really good at problem solving and critical thinking. Now, this is the bit that is crucial if your teen wants to go into medical fields, or engineering fields, veterinary fields, any of the fields that we help students get into. Why? Because they need to be able to solve problems on their own and they need to be able to think critically. So real world example then is this one. You know what they do when your teen is applying to medical school? Let's say they got the grades. They pass the UCAT, the BMAT, that's fine. And then they've been asked in for a medical school interview. You know what they do? They have stations set up, and your teen, walks into the room, and there's somebody there playing a doctor or something, taking the role. And then they ask your teen a question that they couldn't have prepared for. They can't memorize it, rote learning. They have to be able to think critically on their feet and solve a novel problem they haven't seen before. And this is how they start to weed out all the applicants who want to go to medical school. This is one of the things that they do. Now, the other thing is critical thinking. Critical thinking becomes important. If we take it back to the A level, critical thinking becomes important because at A level, what they've done now in A-level chemistry, for example, is the exam board has now made this application-based. That's right. They've now made it application-based exams, meaning you can't memorize mark schemes and hope to get a good grade on the exam. Because what happened is this, is that too many people were just memorizing the mark schemes and they had a glut of people that, because they'd done all the past papers out there, they've cycled through again and again and again the past papers. What happened is this, is that they may have got a good grade at A level, chemistry, for example, and then when they went to university, the very first year, they all started to fail out. Why? Because they don't know how to think critically. They don't know how to problem solve. So parents, what we need to do is make sure that we nip this one in the bud and we make sure that your teen can problem solve and they can think critically. The third benefit of being an independent learner is that your teen has this overwhelming amount of confidence. Because think now, if your teen knows how to learn, they know how to problem solve, they know how to think critically, they're in control of their own learning, they have an amazing sense of confidence. Why? Because they know it doesn't matter what the exam board throws at them on the test. They have such a deep understanding of the concept and exam technique that they can answer the exam question. They have that level of confidence. Okay. They also have a reduced reliance on their teacher. So they don't have this idea of, oh, I can't solve the problem myself. I don't know how to do this. Maybe the teacher can explain it to me. Maybe the teacher can spoon feed me the answer. And then I'll just memorize the steps. I'll just do enough practice questions so I kind of get it. And then on the test, just hope that the question comes up in the format that I've memorized. No, they don't have that. What they have is they have self-reliance and the ability to govern their own learning. Okay? Now, what we're really talking about here, parents, is this. What we're really talking about is that we're talking about creating the next generation of empowered learners, right? Learners that have motivation and they have resilience and they have ownership of their learning. All right. So number one, ownership of the learning. They don't need to rely on the teacher. They don't need to be spoon-fed the information. They have ownership of the learning. They know that they can learn the material. And if they can't learn the material, they have the study skills and the revision habits and strategies that they need in order to be successful and learn the information in a way that clicks with their learning style, and then they can apply it to novel exam questions. They're also motivated. I mean, just think, parents, how motivated your teen is going to be when they have a skill set, a set of strategies, a mindset that says, yes, I can do this. And so every new module that comes down in A-level chemistry, for example, they're like, right, I've got a system down for learning the new information. Bring it on. Let's get this one done. Okay? Resilience. This is something that was bandied around in the 2000s by Carol Dweck. You may have heard of the growth mindset, grit, resilience. You know, I hear it all the time in sixth form colleges, right? What does it really mean? Resilience means this. Resilience means that if it doesn't go your way, you don't give up. What you do is that you get up, dust yourself down, and say, right, let's go at it again. And so the issue with traditional learning styles and teaching is that they don't teach resilience. What they teach is they say it at a glib level. Well, come on, have a bit of resilience, is it? You can do better next time. And they don't do a deep dive and actually show your teen the skills and the strategies and the mindset that they need in order to be successful and build resilience. Okay? Now, like I said at the beginning of this live stream, at Empowered STEM, complete transparency, yes, we do offer A-level courses. All right? And so I have to say that because we are transparent in what we do. But our A-level courses, chemistry, biology, physics, maths, yes. Slightly different approach though. Right? How we do it is in our A-level courses, we use neuroscience and educational learning theory to help your teen actually build the tools and the strategies that they need in order to be successful. So besides the content of A-level chemistry, anybody can do that. You know, the competition can do that. Besides the exam technique, anybody can teach that. What we do is slightly different. What we do is that we teach your teen neuroscience techniques and strategies from learning theory in order to be successful. For example, neuroscience, what we teach is we teach them space repetition. So when they're revising for a test or an exam, space repetition, okay, so you lock that information into your short term and then your long-term memory, number one. Number two is we teach them active recall. You may have known this one as the Feynman technique. Basically, it's active recall. We teach them how to recall the information from memory and then apply it, explain it in their words. We also teach them self-analysis, critical feedback. So when they get a task back, when they get a homework set back, when they get a practical write-up back, they know how to look at the feedback with a critical eye and say, yes, I got this right. I got this right. No, I need to improve on this. So the next thing that we do is that we give your teen a structured pathway because it's like climbing up the side of a mountain. If you try going at it alone, it's awfully difficult. Some people would say, yes, I'm just going to do it on my own. But imagine if you're climbing up the mountain of success in A-level chemistry to get the A star at the top of the mountain, it's easier to do it with a guide, a seasoned tutor who's done it before. They know They know all of the examiner traps and pitfalls. They know how to get all the marks correct on the exam. And so they can guide your teen along the pathway of success. So at Empowered STEM, we offer this along with a blueprint, a pathway that we know works, is battle tested, is military grade, and is proven to be successful. So let me give you a couple of examples on this one. We've taught so many students, but one of them that comes to mind is Ishan, right? Ishan, he's now, by the way, he's studying medicine at King's University, which is his top choice university to go to. When Ishan came to us, Ishan had a B, and he was frustrated because he's putting in all the time and all the effort, and he had a B. So we worked with Ishan, and we determined early on that the issue was this. Ishan had really good content knowledge. He knew it inside and out. You could ask him a question, he could give you the answer. The problem was his exam technique. It needed a bit of work. And so we had to break him of the trap of memorizing mark schemes. Because what was happening is that Ishan, when he saw a question on the test, he would think, oh, this is like the question I memorized. And then he put down the answer. And of course, what they've done is they've changed the format slightly of the test. And so he wasn't quite getting all the marks that he could have done. So work with Ishan on his exam technique. And when Ishan took his A-level chemistry final exams, he walked out with an A. So he moved from a B to an A in A-level chemistry, got into his top choice university for medicine, and now he's well on the way to being a doctor. The other one is Fatima. Now, when Fatima came to us, Fatima had a B. Content knowledge was second to none. She had a beautiful set of notes. Her exam technique was solid. Nothing wrong with it. Issue is that Fatima, because she'd done so much work in A-level chemistry, she'd gone a little bit too deep, and she wasn't answering the question using the key words and phrases that the examiner was looking for. She was giving it more of a university level experience answer to the question. And so we worked with Fatima. We fine-tuned her exam technique, only needed a little bit of fine-tuning, okay, to make sure she was answering the questions exactly as the examiner wanted them answered. And then we worked quite a bit with her on her mindset because she was getting frustrated, but she was also beginning to lose her self-confidence because she kept on missing the mark on the questions by 1 mark or 2 marks. She was always slightly off an A on the practice questions. And then self-doubt became kind of snuck in. And so what we did is this one. We work with the mindset, and we've got to understand how to keep the mindset positive, get all the butterflies flying in formation. When she took her final set of exams in A-level chemistry, she walked out with an A star. She moved from a B to an A star in A-level chemistry. And then she applied to and got into her top choice university, UEA, University of East Anglia, and she is studying to be a cardiothoracic surgeon. Now, this is kind of a long academic path that she's going down to be a cardiothoracic surgeon, but I'm totally confident that she will do very well and actually become a cardiothoracic surgeon. Okay? Because at Empower STEM, what we do is that we create independent learners. This is what we do. We give your teen autonomy over their learning so that they can set their own goals. They know, for example, how to set study schedules, revision plans, how to set academic goals, how to improve on each and every test. They know how to set goals and they know how to study. And this has got to be the most important bit. They know how to study. And so they have a toolbox, a complete toolbox of all the tools and the strategies that they need in order to be able to learn just about anything. Now, we also give your team a set of resources and tools that you can't find anywhere else. All right, because what we have is that we have a set of resources that are ours, that are curated by our board of tutors and all the different departments. And these resources are tailored to your teen's needs. And so they have a really strong set of resources, practice questions, homework sets, notes, what they need so that they can conquer each and every individual module in A-level chemistry, biology, physics, and maths. And like I said, we also give them a set of tools, study skills, revision strategies, talk about mindset, so that, again, when they approach a new module in A-level chemistry, for example, they don't mind. It's bring it on. I know I can do this because I've done it before. I've got the strategies, the tools, the resources that I need in order to be successful, coupled with a killer mindset, a mindset that is unstoppable. It's an unwavering amount of confidence and self-motivation. And so the students in our courses, they quickly become the type of A-level student that you need to become in order to achieve top grades in A-level chemistry, biology, physics, and math. Lock in those A and the A-star grades. Now, parents, I understand that I've been talking for a while, and you probably have questions. Totally understandable. Questions about what we do as a company, the courses, understandable. So the next step is for you to book a call out with me. And it's really easy. This live stream is going to Facebook, it's on Instagram, it's on YouTube. Come back to Facebook, send us a message, and what we'll do is a member of my team will give you a call and just have a conversation. You know, cup of tea, cup of coffee, casual conversation, no obligation with us. And what we'll do is we'll answer your questions. Because at the end of the day, parents, what you need to know is three things. Number one is, are our courses a good fit for your teen? Number one. Number two is working with us, is working with a school like us. Is that a good fit for your teen? And most importantly, do you feel that you and your teen have been well supported? Because at the end of the day, what you want is that you want your teen to achieve the A and the A stars in A-level chemistry, biology, physics, and maths, but you want them to feel that they've done their best, that the grade that they earn in these subjects is a grade that they should have got, so they can close the chapter on the book on this one and start the next chapter at university without wondering, well, maybe if I had. And of course, for you parents, what you want is that you want to feel like you've done the best for your teen. You've given them the best support and the resources that you can find so that at the end of the day, you can sit down and rest assured that you've done absolutely everything you can to support your teen and get them to the next level in their life. So, everybody take care, and I'll see you in the next one.